So we watched a draw. Now let's see if we can see a little bit better of an outcome. Funny story, I'm not going to go back and cast those things, but there were actually 3 consecutive draws followed by a win. Finally, took 4 games on Theta Passage to actually resolve that. So congrats to, oh, which one of them won? No, it was Blast Shield. Congrats to Blast Shield for actually winning that one. Okay, we are going to be looking at Zlo versus Winston Smith. 2K versus 1900, both of them UEF on the infamous Theta Passage, the smallest map that you will ever play on. In the ladder, we've got a single PGen double max land factory build, as is apparently common with all of this stuff going on. And then we've got a second air factory for Zlo, which is a very strange opener from what I understand. Most people go for dedicated land builds because tanks rule all on this map. Zlo going for his traditional double mech marine opening because he just has to get those raids in. And then on the south side, Winston Smith power building that hydro with a ton of assistance. He's got his first land factory down and he is going for 5 additional land factories, 6 additional land factories because Brink apparently cannot count. Okay, sorry, had something misset up there. Still getting a network error. I think my stream dropped just a minute ago, and I'm hoping that I am not having consistent issues. I think I'm okay now. No frames dropped. All right, good. Good dealio. So, we are going to have a matchup between a striker and a mech marine. Zlo trying to expertly micro out of the way of those shots and doing a fantastic job of it until he finally takes a hit to the face. That mech marine will go down, and the other mech marine is going to sit on top of this mass extractor in hopes of a hapless engineer coming by and dying to its bullets. 2 land factories online on the front, building tanks already, which is going to give Winston Smith a pretty big leg up in production, seeing as Zlo hasn't even gotten a second land factory online. He does have this air factory, though, and that is going to be getting a bomber out very soon, which is going to cause some bad things to happen in Winston's base. The question is going to be whether or not that bomber can cause enough damage to justify the lack of tanks from Zlo's side. The key here is going to be getting power kills, and since basically the only power that has been built is the hydro, it's going to be a little bit of a difficult matchup. I find it interesting that he's keeping his bomber over here, and then he's building engineers. It might have been effective to go for 2 T1 bombers, because obviously the other guy's not going to have any intel on you. What would happen if you just saved your bombers and went for 2 or 3, and then went over to the other side? Of course, you would be taking a gamble because you don't have intel on them either, because you didn't send your air scout over, but it would be interesting to see what would happen if that were the case. Bomber going to pick up a T1 engineer. Of course, as soon as that air scout came over, Winston Smith built 2 mobile anti-airs. That bomber isn't even going to get a second bomb off, and it is down. So a relatively easy counter there. Engineers moving just in case in order to deny the kills. And another power generator going up. So things have been reevaluated. No more land factories. There has been an air factory queued, so you gotta take care of that thing. And I gotta hit that up. Sorry, someone pinging me about the tournament. So in the center, Winston Smith moving a little bit to the north side. He did pick up those higher value rocks from the middle. Looks like Zlo is going to come into the center and try to get some reclaim for himself. And right now, the tank situation is not looking particularly great on either side. There's not a lot of units, but there are enough that Winston Smith is going to be able to pick up an engineer kill over there. 3 tanks diverted to kill the 2. On this side, some more as well, just in case another unit gets through. Zlo does not want to have a leak on that side of the map. Speaking of leaks, there is one on the south side. Winston Smith has a couple of tanks leaking through, but more T1 tanks are going to be moving to this side, and that should secure the gap quite easily, or he may withdraw slightly. He does have a land scout over there, so he should have intel on what's going on. ACU moving very far up. Winston Smith actually picking up a mech. He may be able to defend it as well. Zlo dropping behind an eco with that kill. 17 to 21 mass. Of course, any mechs killed and then claimed is a 4 mass difference because it's +2 to one side, -2 to the other. So even though it's a very small change, one building, it can make a huge difference percentage-wise in the total amount of economy. Winston moving to the north side to try and secure another mass extractor as well. May lose this one to a handful of tanks coming through, but overall he is in a very good position. I think Zlo screwed himself. He didn't get a good amount of use out of that bomber. He is now fighting for his life with a dearth of tanks, and it's not looking too great. Got 5 tanks moving in on the right with air cover and scouts. They're going to take these mass extractors as well. Zlo pulling ahead slightly on mass temporarily to 24. But of course, he will lose out when these mass extractors die. He was able to kill that building. Looks like he's going to have quite a squad of tanks move over to this side as well. So things looking relatively nice on the north. We've got a total of 6 land factories scheduled, with 5 already built, and this is going to be a different thing. We've got T2. None of that messy T1 spam. We're going straight for the pillars, and those pillars may be game-changing. Air Scout coming across, that is actually going to loop right here, so we're not going to get any free intel on the other side. No powered storage, so no overcharges quite yet. Also very low power builds from both of these players, so overcharge is not really going to be an option. Not only are you going to have to build that energy storage, you're going to have to build a couple extra power generators as well in order to make use of it. So the pillars might in fact be a good investment from Zlo. He's got roughly an even number of tanks, and he does have his ACU in the area. He's going to control K one of his land factories in order to reclaim it and get more mass to get more units online as quickly as possible. ACU moving over to a defensive position directly in front of the factories. Basically what's going on here is Zlo is trading territory for time. He is trying to get into a defensive position so that he loses as little as possible of his main base, but he is letting Winston Smith overextend, get a little too secure in his position, and hopefully he can swoop in with the tanks. Winston coming in to scout with his interceptors, probably knows that something is up, and he now sees the T2 HQ and the 2 pillars that have already been built. He is immediately going to withdraw to the south and try to flank Zlo, corner him in on his home base. Lots of assistance down for Zlo on that, but he's down to 17 income versus 27, 2K reclaim versus 8. So that is going to make quite the difference. That factory was most of that in his income, but he is still stalled for the majority of his mass income. 3 pillars on the field. Got to get a critical number up quickly in order to deny all of this. It's all going to come down to that. Already have an energy storage built. Winston, of course, is going to be saving up for that, but he first has to build his power. He can't even get a single overcharge out. He is negative on it. Zlo moving in to try to secure the advantage as quickly as possible. He knows that Winston doesn't have that overcharge, otherwise he would not be risking his units in such a clump. The collision denied him. There's still some unit advantage on the south side due to all of those T1s, but we've now got 5 pillars online. Winston trying to deny that build power. He's going to be able to slow down the rate at which the pillars are coming. Is it going to be enough, though? Full withdrawal of the units. I'm not sure why that is the case for Zlo. Zlo also giving up some amount of reclaim in the middle here. Winston continuing to push forward. He's got 3 more power generators built, so that should... Nope. He's gone for a T2 land factory, so he is matching what his opponent is doing. Going for mongoose in order to try to win the micro war. An occasional pause on the air factory would be able to secure him an overcharge here and there. But he does have one in the bank now, so as soon as these pillars close in, he is going to be able to kill them. Only 1 in range right now. Zlo moving all of his units to the north to try to secure an advantage on that side while he has the superior unit count. The freeze in the game, of course, probably means that the game has ended 5 minutes in the future. There's our continuation. Zlo pushing up, both ACUs roughly equally scathed. A single tank moving up on this side, harassing a mass extractor and securing some territory. It looks like Winston Smith is pushing for the win here, trying to get all up in Zlo's business, denying this reclaim, which is a good thing on his part. Speaking of reclaim, Winston now at 1,200 and Zlo at 2,500. Couple of pillars difference in the count there. Winston getting off an overcharge, killing one of those pillars. Not a good day for Zlo's units. And Zlo is going to have to back up. Two pillars close together. Another overcharge gets both of them. That is a devastating blows to Zlo's unit composition. Winston having to back up slightly, 6,900 HP versus 56. These Mongoose are going to start moving in. As long as he is careful with the micro, they will be able to outrange anything that Zlo is throwing out right now. Backing up, just trying to maintain the map control. T1 point defense over on that side is going to be able to maintain that economy. Single tank going to take out a T1 mechs. I think that point defense should have enough range to cover the gap, so it will die if he tries to come through. Looks like Yellow is going to be able to secure both of the south side mexes, knocking Zlo down to 15 mass income. Pillars passing up the commander. They're going to move through the gap. Going to be able to raid right through the center, but there are some Mongoose over on this side that will be harassing on the outside edge. Mongoose are faster than Pillars. They will be able to kite to infinity if the micro is careful enough. Zlo trying to close in, able to nail one of the Mongoose with the striker that is in the back, the Pillar, pardon me. T1 bombers coming in, doing some damage before getting knocked down by the T1 anti-air, rocking multiple veterancy, 4 bomber kills. It might be able to knock down another. Interceptors coming in from Zlo's side. He has caught up in air production since only bombers have been built for the last few minutes from the south side. Lots of yellow on the field. Zlo struggling to recover for some weird reason. Has built a mobile missile launcher. I know not why. It is moving over to the left-hand side probably to try to knock out this point defense and allow for the securing of all of these mass extractors. He may have sacrificed that tank. I do believe that he did. Zlo knocking out a T2 unit on that side. I think he may have... No, he does not have overcharge. That was pure brute force trauma, blunt force trauma from the ACU. No overcharge involved. Single pillar over on that side. They do have enough HP with that 1500. They can survive for 15 seconds versus an ACU without overcharge, and in that time will deal quite a substantial amount of damage, well into the hundreds. Not entirely sure because I don't have the unit database sitting in front of me and I don't have the damage of the pillar memorized. We shall look at it at the end of this game. Winston Smith moving back over to the left, and I think that is going to be a win. He's got the unit advantage. He's got the HP advantage. Zlo is going to go down, and that is going to be the end of it. An unfortunate end for Zlo in this tournament. Since this is a loser bracket, that is going to be a total knockout of Zlo. Let me go over here to the unit database and very quickly check. Striker, not striker, pillar does... Where are you at? There you are. 53 damage per second. That is actually a lot of damage. 15 times that. That is actually into the thousands. I am having a mental blank on the math, so pardon me on that. But now you know. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.